Hello and welcome to That's So Craven, the podcast. The all things Fulham thing. You can tell I haven't hosted in a while, but there you go. We are a Fulham podcast. We talk all things Fulham. And today we are going to be talking about the absolute car crash that was our latest game at Villa Park. So all hunky-dory that was. And as you can tell probably by my demeanour and my tone of voice, I cannot wait to talk about this game. But today, I can't do this all on my own, because as you can see, I just had an absolute crash and burn just trying to introduce myself. So I'm here with my most noble of friends within the community of Fulham, Sammy Berense. How are we doing?
I'm doing good. I love that the intro has devolved into welcome to That's So Craven, the Craven Fulham podcast.
The Craven
Um,
Fulham podcast. Yep.
it's
Patent
where
pending.
it's the best place to be. No, and I'm here with my Fulham best friend, trademark that as well. I'm here with Skibby. Look, it's a miserable day. So I thought we could bring some sunshine. Of course, we'll talk about Fulham. No stone will go unturned. We will not follow an agenda. We'll just go straight to the hard-hitting press because why mess about? And there will be references. It will get niche. It's a Sam and Skibby show, so
Absolutely.
let's
And I think
just
the
just
last
lean in.
time we were actually together was probably for the quiz, which was an absolute triumph for
It was.
just chaos. So I think
Yeah.
if you haven't seen it, do watch the our sort of big fat quiz of the year because spoiler alert, me and Sam absolutely crushed it.
No,
Two
not only
years in a row
crushed
as
it,
well.
2 years in a row. We're undefeated. We're unprecedented. No one can touch us. Although I do remember that we did do a show with Mike, I think recently. We made a big deal about that
Oh,
being
that's true.
yeah, and there was there was Mighty Ducks references. There was Shrek
Oh
2, I
yeah.
think got a shout. But shall we talk about some Fulham, Skibby? Because I know that you're angry.
Yeah, let's talk about Fulham. So, I mean, going from absolute victorious and just absolute winners to talking about Fulham, who are not absolute winners and absolute champions. I mean, going into the game, Sam, like we were sitting in the bottom three. They hadn't won a game all season. I think they'd only scored one goal.
Mm.
I mean, there was an element of, quiet optimism for Fulham going into this game, surely, from your perspective.
Well, I mean, I don't write a Villa. Like I knew that they were a good team. If anything, with the initial commentary, I was actually quite astonished because I hadn't really been paying as close attention to them, I think, as like the average viewer. So I was a little bit taken back by just how poor their start to the season actually was. But John McGinn always seems to like get us, and this they've still got decent players like Tielemans. I thought Tielemans was going to be out. Like when I think you guys were talking about Tielemans potentially being out, that filled me with some optimism. But yeah, look, I mean, no Muniz, that was always going to be a pretty big kind of blow for us. But I mean, I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was going to be a just run away with it kind of situation. But I did think that we were going to be a bit more competitive. And like, okay, I'm talking because we started great. We did start awesome. That was lit. And then it just all just kind of fell apart a little bit, kind of before my wide eyes. And it's like in times like this, it just makes you sad, doesn't it? Like that's really how I just felt. Like as the game progressed, it just kept on getting a little bit worse and worse. And then okay, let's pull the panties back. What upset you the most? Let's just go for broke.
What upset me the most? I think before a ball was even kicked, I was pretty annoyed. So I was sitting in the pub near Villa Park. We met up with Dazza from the Discord, so that was really cool to see. He bought me a beer as well, so I will promote that to the ends of the earth. If you want to buy me a beer, I will be a friend for life. So there you go, Dazza, you got a friend for life in me. And apparently it only costs a Guinness. Black and white drinks only. No, I think we saw the lineup, and it was just really kind of disappointing to me that we've got Kevin, who had this kind of cameo against Leeds. Everyone was really hyped. Started against Cambridge, not so great. I mean, he tried, but it didn't really come off. So there was parts of me where I was thinking, okay, Villa are going to be a team that are going to be attacking us. Therefore, there's going to be space in behind. Probably a great game for Kevin. I think with the way that Villa have started this season, I thought there was really an element here that we could really go for it from the off. And as much as I do rate him as a player, I just don't rate him in Marco's system with Lukic, which is Berger. So I would have really liked to have sacrificed Berger and, probably pushed Josh King back or put Iwobi in that space and bring Kevin in, or with Josh King in there, then Smith Rowe comes in. I just thought, with a few more attacking bodies in that midfield, we could really kind of take this game to Villa, who are faltering. So, it was just really disappointing to see the same kind of 11, but, Tete with an injury, so Castagna came in. That was a bit of a shock. And then Muniz with an injury, didn't even make the bench. And then it just seemed really bizarre to me that we've signed on loan Kusi Asare from Bayern Munich, 18-year-old kid on loan. And I don't care what anyone says, he's 6'5", he's he is like a Lukaku regen, right? He just looks like he's going to be something special. And I think that is what Bayern had seen in him. And, he scored against Spurs in pre-season for them. He looked very good. Can't even make our bench. And I was thinking, okay, this is Marco being really petty here. This is a bit of his two fingers up to the board saying, oh, I didn't want this player. I'm not going to put him on my bench. Even if he's not ready, I mean, define ready. Like, he's a striker. Honestly. He's a football player. He's 18. He's going to be hungry. He's going to want to play in the Premier League. And, we had concerns going into this game beforehand around the striking options. And then, sure enough, about 10 minutes in, Jimenez picks up an injury. And that, for me, was just, are you happy, Marco? I mean, I do get the fact that you got to get up to a certain speed and understand the tactics side of things. But if you're just going to be a striker in this system, stay up there and make a nuisance of yourself that Muniz does. And I just think that, I just feel like he just took a bit too much of like a petty view on it to be just really stubborn and just leave this kid out. And like, if he was playing for the under-21s, I'd understand it, right? You don't want to overdo it for him. But he's not playing in the under-21s. He's not playing for us. I think he made the bench against Cambridge. What is he doing? So that was the first thing that really annoyed me. But then do you want
so just so this doesn't fall into just like an entirely skivvy show? Do you want to go like beat for beat? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I mean,
my first gripe would be and Skivvy, I'm not a tactical man. I'm a romantic man. I can't speak about the game in the same minutiae and prowess that you can. I just see things the way that I see things. Sasa Lukic, I understand his role. I understand where he. Okay, obviously I want to talk about handballs, but I want to talk about Sasa Lukic first. So Sasa, right? I do like Sasa. I like what he does. It was so frustrating, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that he might be the worst finisher I've ever seen in the Premier League, because like he was getting into such good opportunities and was so wasteful. And to be honest, I kind of really appreciate the fact that he was actually taking some initiative and actually finding those pockets. Not taking anything away from Josh King, because I thought Josh King was outstanding in the first half, and he just didn't really translate to a full game. He's still young. I'm giving him his flowers. I thought he was fantastic, but for some strange reason in the second half, Sasha just became our main attacking threat, and it was just woeful. With Adama Traore on the pitch,
we'll get to that.
It's like it was astonishing that he was our last resort so many times, and it was just so depressing. I mean, if I was Aston Villa, I'd be laughing at us, and I'm actually not. Yeah. directly criticizing Sasa Lukic there. I'm actually criticizing the fact that it was allowed to happen. And he was, bless him, he was the guy who stepped up, but he should never have been put in that position.
No.
And that was driving me insane. Skibby, your next
But
point.
we started strong, didn't we? I mean,
we did.
We got
and
down
Josh
the field,
King was amazing.
3 minutes in, we get a corner. We never score from corners. But, you know, I mean, and you know what I'm going to say? Really poor form from the Aston Villa announcer here, because he didn't announce who scored our goal. We had no idea because it was the other side end of the pitch to us. So we kind of just assuming that, you know, a corner came in. It must have been Anderson. I saw some blonde hair flicking around in there. But, you know, seeing it back, like Lukic to that front post, fantastic header from Jimenez. Bit of grappling on the line from Berger and McGinn. That then went through a lengthy check, which was, again, officials trying to take everything away from Fulham. Not bitter in the slightest. But it was just a fantastic goal. Both at it. I mean, it wasn't a foul for me, but was it a foul for you with Berger and McGinn on the line there?
No, I refuse to accept that. Like, I don't think it actually had like enough of an effect on the actual play. It was just a scuffle between them. That's my personal take on it. I'm sure other people have that. I have much bigger issues with other parts of the game than that, so I really don't want to get like lost in the shuffle there. But starting off, handball apparently just means nothing anymore, and that's driving me insane, Skibby.
Yeah, I mean that was Josh King we talked about sort of loosely. He picked up the ball. He had a point to prove. I think that's what I really noticed is that, you know, he made that mistake against Brentford. Obviously, it didn't affect the end result, which is pretty good for him. But for him to bounce back and be like, right, I need to really pull my socks up and really get into Villa here. And he did exactly that. He was getting early touches. He was turning. He was running into space. And there were so many times where, I think more on sort of the left-hand side, where he was just really helping Iwobi and Sessegnon get free. And it was one of his sort of driving runs. I think, well, first of all, it came without the handball. It came to hit Traore of all people, putting him through on goal. When Traore thought about playing, he did sort of turn up a little bit. But, you know, getting his foot on the ball, getting his head up, put Josh King through on goal. And, you know, a collision happens. I mean, I don't... Do you know what is really annoying me about this is that Josh is unfortunately getting a reputation now for diving. This is his second yellow card for simulation. But when you watch that back, okay, was he bracing himself? Was he an 18-year-old bracing himself for impact from, you know, this 30-something-year-old man that's
World
about
Cup
to
winning
take his legs out?
Enormous keeper, Emi Martinez.
And when you break it down, like he is coming out full force. He is full speed, Emi Martinez. Josh King gets a nick in there, and then you see his left foot get swept by Martinez. Okay, he may have already been fumbling. He may have already been tumbling down, but there's still contact there. That is a player who I think in real time can't jump over the player, can't jump over the goalkeeper, can't go around him. It's just going so quickly that he feels the contact on his foot, and he goes to ground. And I just think how they've looked at that and not overturned, at least, I mean, whether they can overturn the yellow card, I'm not too sure, because what happens if VAR looks at that, says he doesn't dive, and then, you know, he picks up a yellow card later in the game and gets a red. I mean, that doesn't seem fair to me. But I guess, Sam, your view, I mean, was it a dive? Second part to that, does King strike you as that kind of player?
No, absolutely not. He has integrity. If anything, I actually genuinely, and I know this is biased because like it's my team, but like he strikes me as like a guy who I could see him genuinely wearing the armband one day. I think he actually has no interest in manipulating the game. I think he's just a baller who wants to play. I really see that for him because the way like he takes players on. He's kind of got that Henry kind of like mentality where it's just I just have to beat the player in front of me, and I love that about him. He's so directional in everything that he does. So I can truly see him as a player that's just not necessarily as strong on his feet, and maybe not that confident going into a challenge. So I truly refute any kind of ill thought out preconception that he is trying to basically manipulate the game in his favor. I truly think he has no interest in getting a penalty. The boy just wants a goal from open play. Everything that he's shown me, like fully validates that. Look, and I understand that we can say that with context because we're watching him on a weekly basis. In the middle of the game, it's a little bit of a different context, but just kind of use your brain a little bit, in my opinion. I'll fight anybody in the street that tries to tell me that he's trying to do that. And you can kind of see it as well. Like, I mean, I've definitely played indoor with players who are like about like 6'3", and they'll dive in the most hilarious kind of way, and it's so goddamn obvious. I don't see that from any challenge that I've seen so far of him. I feel very strongly about that.
Yeah, no, and I think you're bang on. And when I was a kid and playing football, I was always taught that if you feel the contact, then you go down, because if you try and carry on, you're not going to get anything. So if he carries on there, stays on his feet, and tries to keep the ball in play, but he's already taken a touch heavily wide, more often than not, then that chance is just going to peter out. So you feel the contact go down, and I think he's done everything perfectly there. And then it comes back to the pundits, the people who have actually played the game, who are all saying Stonewall penalty, easy. And then you see Dermot Gallagher on this ref watch on Sky Sports, just profusely, camp ref, and just sort of talking about, oh well, no, he's initiated the contact, he's done this, he's done that, and it's just so robotic the way that these refs talk. It's just like they just don't understand common physics, momentum, right? Where's he supposed to put his foot? Where is he supposed to go in that situation when Martinez is completely flying out at him? In a split second, he's got to make a decision of, okay, do I stamp on his face? Do I stand on his leg? And then if I do that, I risk a heavy injury to the player. I risk a red card for myself. In that split second, what have you got to do? So he's just basically just braced himself for impact, ridden that impact, and then been told, get up, yellow card, don't do that again, you pussy, basically.
I know we do this every week, but I don't care, and it's the first niche reference of the podcast, so lucky listeners. There's a great book called Alchemy by a guy called Rory Sutherland that basically talks about reason being the death of progress, and I am actually getting concerned that the football is kind of devolving into a situation where you need to have an attorney basically standing next to like Marco Silva, because if anyone can create like the best reason for why things happen, then the reason goes ahead. And that at this point, I would almost rather robots than people actually judging the situation, because you having a slightly itchy ass can actually change the way that you actually view a certain situation. And it's frankly, Skibby, I'm just bored of talking about it because it's the same thing every week. I know there is a bit of a bias and agenda against the teams, but I want to be entertaining. I want to be able to talk about anything in the world with you, and we just keep on coming back to this exact same thing, and it's so irritating. I'm trying to think truly who it benefits. I want I want everybody to be mic'd up. I want facial recognition of everybody making decisions. I want mugshots. I want the lot. I want everybody to be fully accountable. And also, I'm not sure if you were listening when I said it the other day. I want both managers to be present, mic'd up as well, because if a manager can't make a case for their players and can't listen to another manager state the exact same, or I don't know why it's coming down to like the refs when it could potentially come down to like the managers as well. Like
Yeah.
I think it's getting really, really barbaric, and I don't like it. And if we're gonna be this ridiculous, and have it become a democratic decision, involve more people than these supposed experts. I'm sounding very heated about this. This is almost kind of like we're talking about like politics or something, which we could do. Which we could do. There's still time, but it's just. Do you know
Maybe
what
at
it
the
is,
end.
Stibby? It's all just very silly.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, we'll allow the silliness to continue because Josh King also has a shot blocked by a hand.
Ah, stop it! I was so angry with this. I was so angry because again, I mean, because it was the Chelsea handball. It was literally the Chelsea handball that we copped the other
Yep.
week. So I was like,
Yep.
oh well, we lost one. We'll get one. And then when it didn't go past, I was fuming. I was so angry, dude. Like, because again, I'm just give me consistency. If you're gonna fuck me the same way.
The key word is consistency, right? And do you know what? It's just always there's too many rules for handball. So you get the silhouette rule, which is a silhouette of a player. Does his hand or arm move out of the silhouette? Okay. Well, then in this scenario, yes, it does because his hand is behind him and it's making his body bigger. And then it's saying, oh yeah, but is it unnatural? Well, no, it's kind of anyone who's played football knows that that's a natural position. You're flying in to block a shot. But to the letter of the law, has he made his body bigger to prevent a goal scoring opportunity? Now, I'm not Hawkeye. I can't see the trajectory of that ball to 100% accuracy, right? But I know that is going goal bound.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think Martinez is going to be able to save it. I don't think he has the reactions to. But it's hit his hand in a natural position, but out of the silhouette to me. And I just think this is completely insane in a way that if it happens against us, we just are told to like it, lump it, it happens. You know, like the Cess one, arm was sort of bigger. I mean, is that an unnatural position? If when you do a jumping motion, your arm will go up. You don't jump like a fucking penguin. Can penguins jump? I don't think they've got knees. But anyway,
I'm trying to think of Happy Feet. Happy Feet is no, they do jump because they gotta go into the water somehow. So they have a bit of a jump.
They have a bit of a jump. So there you go.
Yeah.
So maybe
it's more of an
can jump
angled jump though. It's like a dive more so than anything.
Yeah, but anyway, it's just if you could categorically say this is handball, black and white, I won't refute it. But the fact that it keeps coming back to, oh well, we had one the other week. Okay, well we'll get that on this week. Oh wait, no, that's not a penalty. And I remember being in the concourse at half time, getting a much needed refreshment. And they had the screens on showing the Sky Sports coverage, and they showed the King being taken out by Martinez. Everyone was a bit grumbly, and then as soon as we all saw that one, it was Silver's right, the refs are shite across the whole concourse. Yeah. It was just embarrassing, and I think from that point on, even if we just get one of those penalties, we go in at half time 2-0.
Yeah.
And
no, 100%.
I mean, given the fact that Watkins scored before half time, but still, I think that 2-0 changes the game for me.
Emotionally, we would have been 2-0. Even if it would have been 2-1,
exactly.
We still would have, yeah.
But then it comes down to what I've started to. It's not healthy. This is, and I don't recommend anyone to do this, but I've now started to go back and start to tally up, and officials have got it wrong. King versus Chelsea, there is disallowed goal. Bassi against Man United, Lenny Yoro pushes Bassi in the back. Bassi against Man United again. Mount starts grappling with Bassi. Bassi goes, get off me, and just throws him to the floor. Apparently that's a penalty, but Muniz is also fouled at the same time, but it was a split second after. King versus Villa handball. And there was also King against Brighton. There was also, I think, a shout against Brentford as well. It's getting to a point where we've had 6 games. We've had 6 games, and I've reeled off 8 times that the refs have made a really controversial, terrible terrible call in my book. And I get that there's going to be a pinch of Fulham fan salt here, but you don't see anyone else having that kind of reaction at the moment. Like 8 times that we've had a goal disallowed / goal against us or a potential penalty. Like they are some really key experiences.
I still can't get over the fact that you've actually gone back in the pettiest way.
I am a petty bitch, Sam.
Oh, I know you're such a petty bitch. I know one thing to be true: Skibby to be grumpy and to be petty, Sam to be stoic and whimsical.
It's when we bring Villa to Craven Cottage. I hope that there is some absolute shit show of a 4-0 win for Fulham, where they should have had Fulham should have had a red card, a penalty, and all this stuff, and I'll just go, meh. By the
way, I should point out as well, Skibby does have a new podcast, and if you actually want to see Skibby happy for once, I highly recommend it, because that was the first thing I said to him when he said it to me. I was like, "This is the most I've seen you smile in at least like the 3 years that we've been doing this with you." So if anyone does because I'm sure our very attached listeners would like to see Skibby happy, as we all would like to. So if, it's not going to happen tonight, or it's not going to happen here.
No.
But just in general, if you would like to see it, it does happen, and he's only petty and angry if provoked. Skibby's a very multi-dimensional person, people.
Football brings the worst out in me, especially Fulham.
It does.
But there is that.
It does. Yeah.
But anyway, out of all of that bullshit, we then get caught with a long ball over the top. To Watkins, who delicately chips it over to Leno, who doesn't know where he is. Thoughts, Sam?
Annoyingly, I remember watching it, just being like, that is actually quite a good goal, because when it goes over the line, Bassi does basically everything to get to it. He can't really do absolutely anything about it. You could maybe make the argument that Leno was probably in the wrong position, but to be perfectly honest, I think Watkins actually does very, very well to draw him in. So, but it is just one of those annoying ones, just being like, if anything, I got more annoyed with that. I got more annoyed with that because I was like, there, like that's a pretty convincing goal. I was way more annoyed in the second half, but like, I can make my, you know what it's like, I can make my peace with like a good goal. Like, do you remember last season when we played Wolves and is it Cuenca?
Cunha.
Yeah, Cunha just completely ripped us apart with two of like the best, most well-controlled goals I've ever seen. And you just have to sit there and just be like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like I can't hate on that too much. But I do want to go immediately to the second half, if you will entertain me, please.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Right. Literally, I like you, I went into the second half with optimism. I was like, you know what? This isn't a perfect scenario, but Silva's had a chat with the boys. Traore's on. He's still really, really gas. I know he's not the attacking threat that we really, really need, but maybe something will come of this. I felt like I had been like smacked in the face by like something. And like, okay. One time, right? When I was about 19, I was at a house party and I made somebody quite upset, but I didn't actually realize I had actually made them upset. Basically, somebody had relayed something that I said back. It wasn't terrible, but basically I was chatting to my friend. So, Skibby, imagine I was just chatting to you and we were just having a nice conversation. I haven't caught up with you in ages. Oh, yeah, like, how's your mum, Skibby? And then I get thrown into an open fridge. That was basically what happened. Yeah. And then I didn't mean for this story to sound it's sounding a bit more intense now. I actually tell it out. And then, and then I was just like, whoa, what is going on? Why am I here? What's this? That was basically how I felt with the 2 goals after the second, when we started the second half. Maybe I shouldn't have shared that story. I feel like that story didn't really.
Were there shelves in this fridge?
Or there were shelves in that fridge. Yeah.
And you still fit in the fridge?
Well, I got thrown in. The fridge was just open because we were drinking out of the fridge, and then I got thrown into like the fridge. He was very upset with me. Anyway, that's a very, very different story. We can maybe do it at the end. But anyway, go on.
Well, I mean, like you say, the start of the second half, you're thinking,
Just
right, this is where
blindsided.
we just need to really, pull up our socks, try and help Traore in any way you can, because he really was not a natural centre forward. But that McGinn goal, there is nobody worse to concede against. John McGinn, I think, is every time I remember that bloody lineups for Sky Sports, it just looked like a rabbit in headlights. But he just picks up the ball and he's, I think is it Traore that loses it? I think it's Traore.
Okay, I think there's a couple of people a little bit at fault. I can't just put it entirely on Traore, but Traore was lazy. He was very, very lazy.
Yeah, but he picks it up and he's behind our midfield, so he's already beyond Lukic and Berger, who are trying to sort of support Traore, who loses the ball. Then he just drives into the gap, and you can't just let him drive and get a shot away. Why are we letting him shoot from there? Somebody's got to push out. Somebody's got to commit, make him pass. But especially if you're shooting from there, it is really very poor defending, and it good goal. I mean, he finishes it bottom corner. He hits it well, and I think one of those where you've got to, okay, fine, we made a mistake here, but pick yourselves up and we go again. So we concede to John McGinn of all bloody people, and then literally 2 minutes later, just they're in behind again, and we're all like in the crowd, we're all hands on head going like, Fulham, pull yourself together. Like, we are so fragile, and this is not new. This is a Marco Silva trait for Fulham that we've seen for at least 3 years now, where if we concede, you can bet your bottom dollar that we're going to concede again in the next 5 minutes, because we just seem to be all over the shop. And I think Watkins gets in behind, and the ball falls to Buendia. VAR check again, and again it comes back to, we're in the stadium, we have no idea what's going on. They go on a VAR check for ages. Check a possible offside first, I think, against Watkins, then possible handball on Buendia, because the ball bounces up, it may hit him on the arm, but then the ruling, I believe, is and this is where it gets even more ridiculous, if you handball, I'm Charlie Day on the Sunny, where he's got the board behind me. So for those that are listening, I've got currently Traore all strung up.
There's so much red wool.
But this is the thing, where if you handball it but you turn it in yourself, then I believe, and someone can correct me here, but I believe that's a goal. However, if you handball it and lay it off to a teammate, that's handball, because you benefited from handballing. Or I think it's the vice versa. If you benefit from the handball, it's so dumb. If it's handball, it's handball. It's not whether or not you're the one who scores the goal. But anyway, fragile Fulham. That's the Buendia goal was so avoidable, but terrible defending. And I think at 3-1, it was just impossible to really get back, especially when we would just seem to be all over the place, especially going forward. There was just no, like you said, Lukic was our biggest goal threat, and I think straight after that, I might be wrong, but I think Josh King wins the ball back, Adama squares it to Lukic, and he just has to place it anywhere. Konsa is on the line, and he just hits it straight in the corner where Konsa managed to get a stud on it and get it out.
So upsetting. Like
3-2, you got a great chance, but
I think the thing that really struck me, and I can make allowances for the fact that like Traore is not an out and out striker as much as everyone in the world and anyone who's ever played FIFA would like him to be. He's just not that guy. That's okay. But I just felt like from all of us, it was just so apparent that there was just nothing in terms of like attacking nous. There was no tenacity. There was no there was no fear that Aston Villa had. There was not even like pressure. It just like I was trying to think. I was like, in my brain, like I've seen more intimidating red pandas. Like there was just nothing. There was no bite. There was no venom. Like there was about as much venom as a dolphin has. Like literally, it was just so disheartening because you know it's like it doesn't matter if you it actually doesn't matter if you go like 3-1 down. You want your team to go for broke and just figure it out and push through, and there was just none of that. And I think that's actually a thing that kind of like really upsets me, because part of me would be like be probably feel a little bit better if yeah, like it was a scenario where like maybe Villa got like a red card and we gave it a real red hot go. But there was just none of that. And if anything, that actually bums me out even more, because it was just it felt like at least 40 minutes to half an hour of just accepting what was happening with just extremely scrappy tactics. And it got a little bit better when Kevin came on. Got a little bit better when Chikwueze and Robinson came on. If anything, Chikwueze did like a shot towards the end, and I was like, he should have started the game, or he should have come on halftime, because he actually has like a boot on him. And I'm telling you right now, none of those shots that Sasa did were even 50% of like that shot. So that upsets me a little bit. It was just okay, I've talked enough about this. You go Edgar or like
No, I think here's my view. The enigma that is Adama Traore. You are renowned for being one of the strongest players in the Premier League.
He's yoked. He's so big.
You are renowned for being one of the fastest players in Europe's top 5 leagues, right? And I believe that from what I've seen, that is the biggest myth. It comes back to the whole Sasha being the number 8 for Torino myth that I've never seen. But Adama Traore, it's like, okay, you are the strongest, the fastest, and you're experienced in the Premier League. I'm thinking Michail Antonio, right? I'm thinking that kind of player. So what we should have done is just said, right, Traore, you stand on Konsa or Torres, whoever is the deepest defender, and you wait for that ball and you leg it. And we just try and get in behind the whole time. But he just kept going in deep and standing next to Josh King. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, you're not that guy, man. You're not that. You don't have the facilities for that big man. You can't take a touch and hold the ball up and be this intricate kind of Berbatov number 9. You're just not that player. But he just tried it and it just wasn't working. And I was just like, get in behind and use your assets to the best of your abilities. And we might not have a go at you, but it came to the end of it. It's just, he just didn't try. He just didn't seem to move around.
Okay, did you watch Dragon Ball Z?
Briefly, yes.
Do you remember who Hercule is?
Hercule, no.
Okay, so do you remember like when all of them like all like Saiyans basically go and fight in the tournament, and then there's this one guy who's extremely well marketed, and he's supposed to be like the big guy, and he's utterly useless.
Oh
he's huge and jacked. Yeah, he's got like a big afro and stuff like that. Yeah. That is Adama Traore.
That is
like
Adama Traore.
All a marketing in the world. It should be amazing and just gets smoked by absolutely everybody. And just all you have is the reputation. And you know what? That can give you a Nike deal, but like, just give me something, man. Like the fact that see it this way: if you were in a dark alley and Adama Traore and Josh King came at you, you'd pick Josh King to take a fight, to be in a fight with every single time. But like, he's got so much more tenacity and he's so much more just straight. To be honest, I probably would have even preferred Smith Rowe up front, because Smith Rowe can finish and he actually runs directionally. Like,
personally, I think where we really, when we went 2-1 down and then straight away 3-1 down, that's when Marco needed to make a decision. And what I mentioned earlier, that's where he needed to take off Berger. We don't need 2 defensive midfielders anymore. We suddenly need to attack. We need to put Iwobi there or Josh King there and put Smith Rowe on, Kevin on, and just have that a bit more tenacity in the middle. But it just seemed really silly just to keep Berger and Lukic on, and then I think, and I might be wrong here with the subs, but I think did TC come on in the end? I don't think he did actually, but
Oh,
it
I
was
don't think he did actually.
no Robinson and Smith Rowe were the ones I was thinking of.
Which
But yeah,
actually
I mean,
begs the
apart from
question: why didn't TC come on? Probably could have used
could
him.
he offer anything? I mean, I guess he could, but
Shot
he's
on
just too
goal.
slow.
Yeah,
But
true.
again, it just begs the question of okay, just tell Traore to stay up there and just try and build people around him. But he was just coming in so deep that we just had no one beyond him.
Well, I do think
And
I do think we need to address the fact that like Silva got it wrong. I think we can't really because we can blame Traore as much as physically
oh,
possible.
I
And
will absolutely. He was
I
useless.
know he was, but Silva's the person who put him in that position. So I think it does kind of come back to Silva, and yeah, we love Silva, but he's allowed to get it wrong sometimes. And I think this was a game where we needed grace under pressure, and we needed like tactical, intelligent nous. Silva's not amazing at fixing problems in a pinch in a stressful situation. You could probably put that down to his resources. I can accept that. But he did not make the right call. I mean, I'm not sure if maybe he could have how do you pronounce the 18-year-old's name again?
Kusiasare.
Yeah, he could have put him on the bench, but he didn't. There could have been a bunch of things that he could have done. He could have even played like a false nine. He's not very good at problem solving in that kind of scenario. Like there's a lot of things that you can do with a cool head, and frankly, Unai Emery outmanaged him. Like if outmanaged him, is that a phrase? Out and managerial,
outclassed tactically.
Yeah, I think he really, really did. Because Silva presented him with a problem and Emery fixed it and Silva didn't.
Yeah. But, I mean, given that, it was weird that when Jimenez went off and Traore came on, and I mean, I don't know how it felt while watching on TV, but when we were there, it felt like we were playing with 10 men. It just seemed so unnatural. We just couldn't keep hold of the ball. But ridiculously, when you look at the stats, so I've just for those that are listening later on, we brought up the stats here. So Fulham 52% possession, 11 shots to Villa's 9. Both had 4 shots on target. We had 8 corners to their 2. we just seem to be really kind of on top of Villa at times, and it just happens that we had 4 shots on target, scored 1 goal. They had 4 shots on target. They scored 3 of them. It's just unfortunate. I mean, and I do think that we could have defended better on both of the goals in the second half. But I think there's just definitely some work for Silva and the guys to do. I mean, we've got Robinson coming back, which I think is unfortunate because I think Sessegnon has impressed everyone at left back. We've been I, for one, have been very shocked at how useful he's been at left back. We always thought he was lightweight, more a winger, couldn't tackle, but he's actually proven
liked him. Yeah.
His defensive abilities have really improved, and I think that's credit to Silva. But that being said, I think there's just an element of he's just got to get his head out of his ass, just stop being so stubborn, and if you've got a striker in your squad, put him on the bench, and don't expect one of our wingers to become a striker, because it's just not what you're just not going to see any result from that. I'd rather see if Kusiasare was on the pitch, nobody would have said anything against Silva. We would have said, oh, well, he's not really familiar with the tactics yet. He's not really used to the pace of the Premier League yet. If all these things happen. But at least he's kind of a natural striker who's played in one of the Europe's top leagues with Bayern Munich. So why not give him a shot? Give him a chance. It was very much a free hit at that point where nobody would have, like I said, nobody would have held it against Silva because we had very, very limited options. But the fact that we had a limited option and we didn't even take that, like, what's the point? But no, it's just unfortunate. I guess the timing of the injury to Jimenez. I think it was like a blow to the hip or something. So it wasn't even
it was a bit of a weird one. Like when he went down, because I was really worried it was going to be like a hamstring or something like that. It looked kind of like around like his abdomen, kind of like hip or groin or potentially something like that.
Yeah.
which it's not the worst. A hamstring is that's or like a hamstring or an Achilles. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, shit show, you know, over. I mean, man of the match performance. I think we were kind of
Yeah.
unanimous that Josh King was outstanding. Do you
Mm.
agree with that?
Oh, 100%. He's great. Like if it, I really really. I mean, he's kind of the standout of the season so far. I mean,
Yeah.
he's such a complete player. I I don't know what his end position for us is actually going to be. Like, I'm not sure if he might even like drop a little bit further down and maybe like play like center mid at some point because I know he's playing a little bit higher than that, and I do like him there, but he
Mm.
oh, give him 2 years when he gets like a bit stronger and a bit more built. He could be such a thug in the midfield. Like he could be. I mean, he could be like a Bellingham. Like he really, really could.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly. I mean, I know they kind of look similar, but like genuinely, he's so strong. He's so or like he. Maybe I'm kind of mincing my words a little bit. It's not that he's strong yet, but it's like you can see what he's trying to do, and
Yeah.
then when his body kind of like catches up to him, he's gonna be. I mean, he's gonna take the number 10 shirt off of Tom Kearney. Like you can't
Yeah.
convince me that he's not going to. And I think he is so much potential there. If anything, I kind of almost want to like actually fast track him and actually just get more attackers on the actual pitch. So like, I mean, you can say what you want about Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe does score goals. So if we can find a way, and not in kind of like the hodgepodge kind of
Mm.
not nice way that you just chuck a whole bunch of like players in, but if you can find maybe like swapping out Lukic, having Lukic on like the bench, maybe starting King in his position, and then
Yeah.
having Smith Rowe play a little bit further up. I'd be really, really interested to see how that goes. And start it now, start it early, and let it actually set in. So as we get like closer towards like the end of the season, it's like nice and cemented. But I think the sky's the limit for this kid. I know everybody says that, and I know it's a bit of a broken record, and everyone has the same opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, he really is the real deal. I mean, for me at least.
Absolutely. No, for sure. And I think I would love to see him next to Lukic. I think that
Yeah.
would probably be my favourite position for him. I think
Mm.
just because, and I don't want him to take this lightly because it's not my intention, but to play sort of 6 games in the number 10 role and not score yet. I mean, that he had one chalked off against Chelsea, and it's not for sort of not getting the rub of the green. But at the same time, I just feel like he has the technical ability to really go in next to Lukic and drive us forward from sort of deeper on the pitch.
And he can
People
defend.
talk about he can defend, and he is an absolute live wire. You watch him when you watch him live; he's just buzzing around everyone, and I love that work rate from him. And I think hopefully that's something which he doesn't lose over time, and sort of pick up sort of lazy traits. But people talk about his physicality. Is he physical enough to be a centre mid in the Premier League? Probably not. But at the same time, when you think of the best centre mids that have been in the game, like Modric, Valbuena, he was like 5'6". He was tiny, but he had the quickest feet to get himself out of these sort of situations. And I think Modric is a perfect kind of comparison for me for Josh King. That put him in a tight space, he's got good enough feet to get out of there. Yeah, he made a terrible pass against Brentford, but mistakes happen. That's how you learn.
Yeah,
and I think
100%.
I'm glad that he's sort of taking those sort of not taking those risks, but he's comfortable in making those kind of decisions and passing, and that's going to sort of further his ability to make better decisions and know what works, what doesn't. But for me, I think, like I said, put him next to Lukic. Let Lukic be sort of the brute, the enforcer, kicking people around, and if he wins the ball back or Anderson wins the ball back, get the ball into King straight away. King on the turn, he's off, and he's running, he's taking us up the field, and he will look to create things and make things happen. I just think, like you say, the sky's the limit for this kid, but I would love to see him in that sort of deeper role,
Yeah.
And
I
really
don't need
start
two
to sort of
brutes.
create from midfield.
Yeah,
You don't
I
need
don't
two
need.
brutes, and
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
it's just so negative.
even when we had Polina, we didn't have two brutes. We had like Shrek. We had Shrek and
Yeah,
Donkey. We didn't have like and like we had one little like terrier just running around, and we had just like a monster, an absolute
yeah.
monster. Like we don't need big and bigger. Like I and you know what? It's kind of like what you were saying before. At some point you just have to bite the bullet and go, this kid is the future. We see him in this role. We want him in
Yep.
this role. Let's put him there. Of course, it's not going to work straight away. But you know what? I'm so confident that it's not going to be Andreas in that position. And I'm a big fan of Andreas for all of his faults. I was really, really upset to see him
He's all
actually in
right.
that position. Yeah, but like I was upset to see him be put in that position and it not work out.
Yeah.
And he was kind of just there because he kind of had to be. I don't think that will be the same thing with King, and I would like to see him there. That is, yeah.
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 No, absolutely. No, I think you're bang on. I would love to see it as well. It would be good. But
What else do we
yeah,
have to say? What else do we have to? Okay, actually, do you know what, Skibby? I would like
Go
to
ahead.
know. I would like to know something that you really, really enjoyed this week. That it can be absolutely anything. Something that you really enjoyed this week, so that the audience can know that you smile about something. It can be anything you want.
I'll keep it Fulham related.
No, it can be
no.
anything.
Well, it is nice.
Okay.
But to put it bluntly, it was nice to meet someone from the Discord, in person and have a chat with, have a beer with, and
isn't
just
Skibby lovely? He's a man of the people.
It is nice, and I think it's an interesting sort of topic, really, because I mean, you guys know him better than most, but if you don't kind of live near the stadium or go to like every single home and away game, you don't really create that kind of community around Fulham. So when you do go to games, you often go with a family member, a friend from who probably doesn't support Fulham, and and just enjoy the game and then go home. But and I did that for years. But now because of the Discord, and obviously That's So Craven and the podcast, I'm starting to meet people and then create this community that we do have on a match day as well. So we're going to the home games. I'm meeting up with Dave. I'm meeting up with Mark. We're having a beer. We're enjoying talking about the game. And then even go to Birmingham. I'm meeting up with Dazza and some other people and sort of having a beer with them and that. And it's quite nice to sort of not say that, I don't have any friends, but I don't have any Fulham friends. So it's quite nice to sort of bring.
But
people
I'm your
who
best.
Are in
I am your best Fulham friend.
You are my best friend, and as soon as we're looking forward to your sort of next game over here. But
when my game comes over here, I'm going to walk into the stadium with sunglasses on, and I'm expecting flares to meet the Barenzi family. I will expect nothing less. I appreciate your Princess Diana kind of like route of like just meeting the people in there.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want like the flamethrowers. I want full pyro. I want the backing track to welcome the Barenzis in.
Yeah. No, we can arrange that. But no, it's like and with Mike as well, Mike Levy. So came over from Boston. Mike. I was like, we'll meet up. We'll have a beer, and we did. We had one too many beers, maybe, but it was great fun. So, no, and I mean, this is all stuff that genuinely does make me happy, but also a plug to the Fulham Discord. And I'm not going to say the Fulham That's So Craven Discord, but I'm not saying join the Discord, you can come and meet me, because that's a stupid thing to say. But I think it is
that's the biggest
more
draw.
about... Exactly, that's just a bonus. But I think that's the point that I'm making is... People are joining the Discord who may be in a similar position to us, who don't have that community within Fulham that they, want to meet up with some people on a match day. Join the Discord. Say, I'm going to go down. I'm going to be at this pub. Come and join me for a beer. And people will say yes. People love beer and people love Fulham. So join the That's So Craven Discord.
We need to get Jack to make like a slogan on it, just being like, That's So Craven Discourse. Welcome home.
Yeah. Soda Sopa. But,
Uh.
but that's it. So,
Oh,
guys, we will be
that's it.
back in the week, I believe, for an After Dark to preview Bournemouth. So look forward to that, and hopefully an improved performance. But Sam, thank you very much for accompanying me today. It's been a pleasure. We got in our Dragon Ball Z reference. We got in
We
a
did
Shrek reference.
again.
We
Two
even
for
got
two.
us that. We even got a Sunny in Philadelphia reference. So there
We
we go.
did.
We're branching out. So yeah, if there's anything else you guys
Oh,
want to hear,
oh no, it's San Jupiter. It's San Jupiter. I thought you actually did a Black Mirror reference before, but no, that was a different thing.
no.
But yeah, but
But
no,
thank you, sir.
thank you. I've had a wonderful time, and if nothing else, the frowns have been turned upside down. We're happy. The hair still looks fantastic, Skibby. And
Thank you
yeah,
very much.
we go again. We go again with smiles, and we will be here on Thursday. Actually, I won't be here, but somebody will be here.
I mean,
And
if you
we
weren't
will.
lazy and you got up, you could be here. But
Bro, I did it once, right? And my housemates were so angry with me. They were like, "What the fuck are you doing? It is 5 a.m. and you're shouting." And then
was
ever since then,
chaos.
I was like, I don't think I should do it again. But it was
Yeah,
fun. It was
fair
fun.
enough.
It was fun. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. Those on YouTube, and I do apologize because I've just realised I wasn't picking up any comments, but we did cover everything that everyone was mentioning. So Steve, David, Mark,
We
Diego,
love
thank you
you.
very much for your comments. And I will do better in future to address them. But thank you very much. And I guess Sam, as always, play us
Come
off.
on, you whites. Come on, you whites.